haven't done an update in a while. The last update was at 4 months. We are now at 7.5. 7.5. Things have happened since the last video. Not my period, but things have happened on this journey. So, I had made an appointment, went to the place, learned they didn't take my insurance, had waited a month for that appointment, was not sure what to do at this point. They are the main people in my area for OBGYNs. My hospital is associated with them. Also, since then, have learned that my hospital doesn't take my insurance. The insurance is a whole other video I could talk ages on from multiple sides because I am a consumer and a provider, and I do not like insurance. But besides that, alright, I get a call from my gynecologist to set up my annual. Perfect opportunity to bring this up. Say, hey guys, you ignored me 2 months in. But now, we're at 5. So hi. So, I went to my gyno. My gyno says, you haven't had a period since August. And I'm like, yes. Yes, this is true, which was 5 months previous. And she goes, starts getting some history from me, trying to see what's going on, see if anything stands out. And she's like, well, sometimes this does happen when you're on birth control for a long time. Has anybody else ever heard that like 1,000 times? Is it irritating at some point? Especially when your period doesn't come back for 5 months, now on 7.5. So, yes, this is an abnormal amount of time. Thank you for wondering. Anyways, my doctor says, let's try to jumpstart it. That should work based on what we know of your reproductiveness. I don't know that's the word. I'm just making shit up. So we got on this drug and did it for 5 days. She said, after 5 days, hopefully, your period comes. Now I looked it up. It says typically it comes 1 to 3 days. Even spotting counts. Now, I wait up to a week because sometimes it can take that long for it to work. So I wait up to a week. Nothing happens. I call my gyno because she said, if nothing happens, call me and we are going to do a 10-day regimen. That is exactly what happened. I call, we talk, she puts in a thing for 10 days. All right, same medication. Now we're going to do 10 days. I am 10 days on this medication. I get off, same thing. Nothing happens. Okay. Call my gyno again. What are we going to do now? We didn't have a plan for after the 10 days not working. It was just supposed to work. So here I am, calling my gyno, like, what are the next steps? Please help me. I think I had PCOS. I don't actually say that, but that is what I'm thinking this whole entire time. So this was just recently where she goes, okay, I consulted with another doctor. The other doctor says, we should get these 2 tests and a pelvic ultrasound. All right. I get the 2 tests, the ACG and the other one, whatever. Here they are. One of them seems pretty normal, maybe a little out of the range for my age, but typical, like, you have eggs, it's fine, right? Now the ACG, let's talk about that. Because it comes back, it says it's in standard range. She calls me and tells me that it all looks normal. We're gonna go for the pelvic ultrasound just to see if anything else is going on, but she doesn't think they'll find anything. Now I look up this number, and this number says it is high. Now I know it says standard on my results, meaning I'm not in menopause. Thank goodness. But I found that these high numbers could indicate PCOS. Go figure. So at this point, I'm like convinced I have PCOS. Also, same day, I get a letter from my gyno about my pelvic ultrasound. Guess where it's associated with? That's right, my hospital. My insurance does not accept that. Do-do-do-do. Hello? Can I get a different referral? Yes, you can. I have to go to a hospital 30 minutes away. Yay. That's in the works right now. We're taking steps to figure it out. I will tell you, I did not stop smoking because this is too long for no reason. I'm just being honest there. But I am smoking less. I am only smoking on the weekends. It is what it is. But yeah. Yep. This is our pregnancy journey. Hopefully, it ends well. Right now, not a lot of faith. Alright, so we have a major update. I got ultrasounds done today, and there are cysts on my ovaries. So very indicative of PCOS. So now we're trying to figure that out. We need to figure out what kind I have, and then we can work on managing it. So, yeah. All right. So, another update on my pregnancy journey. This has turned into the PCOS journey. So, I got my pelvic ultrasound done, as I said in my last update. And they discovered cysts. It seemed like a pattern of PCOS. So, we have started on a new journey. We will still be following the pregnancy journey, as that will also be a quest in this. But here's the thing. PCOS involves life changes if I'm not going to go back on birth control. And since we are on the pregnancy journey, we are not going back on birth control. So, we are beginning to make some lifestyle changes. First of all, I've been reading up on this. You guys can sound off in the comments about other things that maybe I should be doing. I don't know when this video is going to be released. It could be way down the line at this point. But I will let you know where I am at right now. So, before getting this diagnosis, I had increased my workouts because I was gaining a bunch of weight. I was like, what's going on? I need to figure this out. Apparently, potentially, I didn't increase it in a good way. Because, see, here's what I learned. there's actually 4 different types of PCOS. There is the insulin-resistant type, the adrenal type, the post-pill type, and the inflammatory type. Now, I'm pretty convinced I have the adrenal type for the sole reason of there is a checklist in this really awesome book. And I had a lot of the checklist. And see, the type matters because your lifestyle changes are going to be focused on these types, right? So, with the adrenal type, you don't want to do high-intensity workouts. I do jump rope, as you guys know. And so, kind of thinking that's not the best thing because I increased my jump roping. Instead, keep the high-intensity workouts down. Maybe 20 minutes. Do treadmill, cardio. Not running, but walking. Maybe some yoga. So we turn stuff around. We turn it around. My old workout was stretch for 5 minutes, jump rope for 1,500 jumps, which is approximately between like 24 and 29 minutes, depending. And then treadmill with, about 5 minutes of running, the rest of it walking, different speeds. So now, revise. We were doing 5 to 15-ish minutes of yoga, replacing the stretching with yoga. We're only doing 1,000 jumps, which takes me approximately 16 to 20-ish minutes, depending on the day, how I'm feeling, what my jumps are like. And then treadmill for an hour, but no running, just walking. Which I used to be doing before I wanted to get into running, but I guess I can ixnay the running. That's not a big deal or anything. So that is change number 1. Change number 2 was my diet. We had already making tweaks to our diet because I really already thought I had PCOS. In my head, I was convinced I had PCOS. I did not need any of these tests done to convince me that I had PCOS because I had a ton of symptoms of it. I think I explained this to you guys before. The weight gain, my daily headaches, high cholesterol, it's just so many symptoms that was telling me this. Oh, in particular, not getting my period. Huge symptom right there. So, we had tweaked a little bit here and there. We looked up things that are like anti-inflammatory foods. But in doing research, maybe that was more for the inflammatory PCOS. I don't know. But this book, great ideas. So we're doing what's called like the PCOS breakfast. So it's basically 30 to 40 grams of protein that I need to eat every morning. It's a lot of protein because eggs have about like 6 to 7 grams. So does bacon, kielbasa. So I'm getting enough of that. So I'm having to eat bigger breakfasts, which is fine. Breakfast is my favorite meal, but it eliminates things from my breakfast. This is not an elimination diet, mind you. We're not saying I can't have all of these foods. We're just saying at breakfast time, let's not have like a bunch of sugar. So let's take my shit ton of sugar out of my tea. Which is okay because we'll get to that in a second. Also, let's take out, bread or bread-like things like rice or oatmeal that we had just switched to. We found some really awesome oatmeal recipes that were really good. But eliminate that. So we've been working with that. Now, the other meals of the day, you imagine a plate. Half of that plate is veggies. Half of it. a quarter of it is meat, and another quarter of it is a healthy starch. And then there's like a little dollop in the center that's like a tablespoon of healthy fat. So that's what we're working with. It's hard to get that for lunch, I will say. It just is. But been doing pretty well with dinner. And I tell you what, yesterday was the best I have felt on a work day in a long time. So perhaps that is working. Additionally, change number 3. I have actually completely stopped drinking my regular tea at this point. I am a hot black tea girl with 2 creams and 6 sugars. Yes, I said 6 sugars. I need sugar in my tea. You should see how much I put in my coffee. It's bad. So anyways, we have now started a new kind of tea. This tea is spearmint, green tea, licorice root, and white pignonia. Now, you might be saying, that sounds weird. You're not wrong. You're not. It smells like spearmint. The taste is very light, though. Some people have complained about the amount of caffeine in it. I'm not seeing that really, but I drink Monster all day long. So, also ADHD. So, caffeine help me brain. Anyways, so I have to drink that twice a day. And, it hasn't been bad. Really hasn't. It's just like drinking hot water, to be honest. Not too much going on there. But I think these changes are already helping. Now, where that leads us for ovulating? Don't know. That's why this is the PCOS journey piece, because we're trying to figure it out. Maybe we can figure some more stuff out together. Always love advice from you guys to see what else I can do in my life to improve. Trying to keep things lighter, more relaxation. But I guess this is the start of our PCOS journey. And also, I think there is a second segment here, and that is frustration with the medical community. Because, like I said earlier, I was convinced I had PCOS way before I even got these tests. I saw all the signs. I put it all together. Now, 2 months after I didn't get my period, I went to my gyno, and I said I had concerns. My gyno said, this happens sometimes when you get off the birth control. But I had some concerns. At the time, I was not experiencing all the symptoms that I am now. I will say that. They asked me if there was any other symptoms. I didn't put it together because there were some that I was experiencing, but I didn't realize the connection. 4 months later, I started having a lot more of the symptoms. Specifically, the weight gain, I think, tipped me off because I was like, this is weird. I'm working out. I haven't really changed anything. Why am I gaining so much weight? Literally, I've gained 20 pounds. Why? I don't know. It's just the PCOS belly at this point. So anyways, I tried to go to OBGYN services in my town. They did not take my insurance. I did not know this at the time because who doesn't take Anthem? It is a big one, at least in my state. I don't know about your guys's, but it's huge here. And the hospital that they work with also does not take it. That is why they don't take it, because they're associated with the hospital. So then I went to see my gyno again. Now, I'm 5 months not having a period, and she says, whoa, concern. Something's going on here. We should get that checked out. And then they did the pills, and then another set of pills, all the while saying, I think you're fine. It's fine. This should work for you. Why give me that hope? Why? We don't know if it's going to work for me. You know, it just seems like it would work for me. It works for people. Why wouldn't it work for you? It didn't work for me. Surprise. All right. So now we gotta get some tests done. We get some tests done. And, those tests are normal. But they're not. One of them was high. Why didn't she notice this? Or why didn't she say anything about it? Did she not know that it was high? Because the test results say normal? It was high. Indicative of PCOS. So now let's get a pelvic ultrasound done. I'm sorry, but my gyno started this conversation off with me. Your pelvic ultrasound came back normal. But they saw patterns consistent with PCOS. And then proceeded to tell me, you must have had irregular periods when you weren't on contraceptives. And I say, well, I don't remember what they were like, really. But I tell you what, I never went this long without a period. I know that for a fact. Even when I wasn't able to eat food like I should have been in my developing time. Even then, I had no concerns that I was pregnant because I got my period. So, she says that, and then she goes, well, they probably were. And you have had PCOS this whole time. Oh, so I could just go along this whole time without knowing. But mind you, does not explain what PCOS is, and does not explain what should happen from this point forward with PCOS. She refers me to OBGYN services and then talks about how I am to get pregnant. Yes, I understand that I came in wanting to get pregnant, but that was not my main concern. My main concern was I'm not getting my periods. But let's talk about how I'm not pregnant or how to get pregnant. Okay. And that's it. That was the conversation. Can we talk about how messed up our medical system is here in America? First of all, why do I know before she knows that I have PCOS? It took her a week to call me about my results. I know for a fact that she had those results at least 6 days ago. At least. Why didn't I get a call sooner? Why should I be able to see those results and know what that means without a doctor telling me? And why should it be so casual and not explained what polycystic ovarian syndrome is? I don't know. But that's the reality of the situation. And this is not the first time I have experienced what I feel like is discrimination in the medical field. Women's health is poor, and we really need some improvement. I'll keep you updated on my journey. And if you have any advice going forward, let me know. Thanks, guys.